Good afternoon, everybody. This is Rachel coming to you live from KHTS Radio, and I am here today with Congressman Mike Garcia. How are you doing today, Congressman?
Hey, Rachel, how you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Calling
Oh,
in from Washington, D.C. today.
oh, wow, I'm glad to hear it. That's exciting. So, I hear you have recently launched a new caucus dedicated to policy issues important among the fighter pilot community. And as a former United States Navy fighter pilot yourself, what are you hoping this initiative will accomplish?
Yeah, actually, it's called the Mach 1 caucus, which is a reference to Mach 1 being the speed of sound. There's only a few members of Congress who have served in aviation, like I have. There's four of us now. Jake Elsey, who he and I served together while we were in the Navy. We're actually in the same Super Hornet squadron. So we flew together in 2003 over Iraq. And then a gentleman by the name of August Pfluger from Texas, who was an F-22 pilot, just got elected last year. And then a gentleman by the name of Scott Franklin from Florida as well. So what this is a small group of military fighter pilots who are looking after. It's not just fighter pilots in the military; it's their families. It's aviation in general. It's helping to shape the funding for and the policies around aerospace within the DoD, within the Department of Defense, and what we're acting as is sort of translators for the average member of Congress who has really no idea. For instance, what the F-15 does, what the F-35, what the F-18 does, and what the pilots in this case are going through and where the gaps and training needs are. So, there's companies out there asking for more planes. There's legislators asking for more money, and there's not too many people actually advocating for the military families who are living this life and making sure that what we're doing is ultimately, feeding into a national security policy that allows air power to be a meaningful role in our fight against China and in our deterrence against China above all things. So it's going to be an interesting caucus. Obviously, this is something that's near and dear to my heart, but it's also very important to our district with aerospace and defense being such a large piece of our district, with the Antelope Valley and Santa Clarita Valleys being so instrumental in programs like the B-21, the new bomber, the F-35 classified programs, the production of F-18 components, F-15 components. So, this is all driving towards making sure that we're making those investments and that we're doing it in a manner that's meaningful relative to China, and hopefully keeping pilots out of harm's way and giving them an advantage that they deserve.
Wow, well, I'm excited to see what this initiative really morphs into over the years and hopefully benefit our future veterans as well, like the 26 students in Santa Clarita who have officially been nominated to different military academies. Now, what piece of advice would you offer to those students who are about to step into a military academy and later into the service?
Yeah, and this is, to be honest, this is probably my favorite thing about this job is being able to help nominate and ultimately appoint these young leaders from Santa Clarita. We had 26 high school students from the entire district, and we had roughly 10 of those 26 from the Santa Clarita Valley. So these are folks who will be going to West Point, the Naval Academy, the Coast Guard Academy, Merchant Marine Academy, and ultimately be commissioned as officers in those services. This is like, a tier one education that, you come out of with a bachelor's degree, but you're obviously well positioned for a great career in the Air Force, and the Navy, or the Marine Corps, or the Army. And so fantastic opportunity for these young individuals, and just an honor to be able to support them through this. I call all the folks who get appointments personally and let them know they got in. And they always say, hey, thank you, Congressman, for this. This is, I appreciate it. I always remind them that they got there on their own. They earned it. They worked hard. And their families are the ones they should be thanking as well. And my advice to them would just to stay humble, to stay grounded in the principles that got them to where they are, that got them to be successful in high school. They're going from a relatively small pond, at Saugus High School to now a slightly bigger pond at the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy. But in the end, they're going to be surrounded by people who are overachievers, who are very intelligent, very hardworking, who want to serve their country. And they've got to remain humble. They've got to remain grounded and continue to work hard, and remember why they're there. They're there to serve their country. They're there to be ultimately an asset to our nation's security, and to be a leader of folks potentially during war. So that's a big deal and a responsibility they shouldn't take lightly, and just a huge honor for them to be in this position. So we are right now getting notifications from the various academies. So we had 26 nominations, and hopefully we get at least half of those actually appointed to the various service academies. We were very successful last year, and we'll be seeing them all off in the late May, early June timeframe for their initiations in early July. So it's very exciting times, and just an honor to be a part of that process.
Wow, that is very exciting. And if you're just joining us, this is Rachel Matta with KHTS Radio, and we are currently live here with Congressman Mike Garcia. Congressman, I was able to watch a little bit about your community discussion with Sheriff Alex Villanueva, covering public safety issues and the effects of defunding the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Could you give us a little bit of insight for those who weren't able to attend the meeting?
Yeah, it was a great event, roughly an hour with Sheriff Villanueva and myself. And look, we come from opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of political affiliation. And what this was really a message to our community members that it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat. We're all on the same side when it comes to our security, and especially our local law enforcement and our neighborhood security. Everyone knows I'm a big supporter of law enforcement, and I'm a big fan of Sheriff Villanueva. He's done the right thing for not only Santa Clarita but also the Antelope Valley. He's helped us fight these illegal grows throughout our district with these illegal marijuana grows popping up everywhere outside as well as indoors. And he's been instrumental in helping us combat those. And he's allowed our city of Santa Clarita to remain one of the safest cities in the country during a time where we're facing a lot of pressures on our local sheriffs. They've been defunded. They've been disrespected, and now they're fighting folks like the district attorney Gascon in LA County, who's not charging these criminals that they catch with crimes, and they're allowing folks to go back on the streets after committing very serious crimes in many cases. So this is a tough time to be a sheriff right now, and I just wanted to let our constituents have the opportunity to hear from Villanueva himself as to what's causing these crime spikes recently, the damage that defunding the police has actually done over the last 2 years, and these protests in front of the sheriff's departments out here in Santa Clarita. They've had very negative effects, and give folks an opportunity to ask questions. So a very good session. We had roughly 200 questions asked. We addressed, as many as we could real time. As I was seeing the questions, we'd have the conversation, basically focus on those issues and those questions, and we'll be responding to everyone that asked a question, ultimately from our office individually as well. But it's just a reminder that we have to respect law enforcement, and this whole notion of defunding the police and the BLM movement. It ended up having a real effect, and it actually did make our neighborhoods more dangerous. It actually did, make a lot of local sheriffs want to retire rather than stay on the force, and it's led to some challenges with funding and retention issues here that we frankly didn't need and certainly don't deserve. So we've got to protect our sheriffs. We've got to respect them, and this is why I'm proud of my team for always going the extra mile for law enforcement. Whether it's on the campaign side or on the official side, we do volunteer events for them on the campaign side, and it's the least that we can do for those who provide the security blanket for us every night.
I appreciate you for touching on that, because I know a lot of our audience members and readers definitely are concerned about the rise in crime and how everything's being handled in Los Angeles County. Congressman, we are coming a little bit to a close to the end of our time here today. Is there anything you would like to add about what you have in store for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we're trying to just push this budget right now. We're trying to make sure that our government doesn't shut down, that we actually fund our government, we fund our military. As always, constituent service remains my priority. If anyone has any issues with a federal agency, please reach out. We're going to be able to help you with the IRS, with Social Security, disability, Veterans Affairs, anything related to a federal agency. Please let us know. We're obviously watching the Ukraine situation here very closely, and this will probably get worse before it gets better. And then obviously my role, making sure that we're watching China and that we're coming up with meaningful policies, and hopefully in the next session actually being able to pass meaningful legislation to help combat this Chinese threat. This Chinese communist government is as bad as we are saying it is, and we need to prepare ourselves to be a meaningful deterrent to them. So a lot of big things going on, a lot of things that we're taking very seriously. In the end, it's all about our security. And like I said, it doesn't matter what party you're in. We all value our security, and that's my mission, making sure that we're paying less in taxes. We can stay in California, and above all things, have a secure neighborhood and a nation that's protected. So that's my mission.
Thank you so much for coming on here today, and thank you to our viewers for tuning in. This has been Rachel Madder reporting, and I hope you all have an excellent rest of your day.